What are you doing in my swamp?
Hello everybody, this is Overboy and I'm going to be doing my review for the 2015 movie Fant4stic, also known as Fantastic Four 2015. So this movie is directed by Josh Trank, and this movie is a new spin on the Fantastic Four. In this movie, 4 teenagers build a trans-dimensional port that unintentionally leads them to gain superhuman abilities when they visit this unknown planet. And they end up teaming up to take on their one-time friend, Victor Von Doom, who becomes Dr. Doom. So, yeah, that's pretty much the story of this movie. They spend a lot of time setting up them going to this planet, and they get their powers, and they kind of skip over them learning how to use their powers and stuff. They just skip over all that, and then it rushes into the ending. Like, this is one of the shortest Marvel movies I've ever seen. It's only like an hour and 39 minutes or something like that. But this is also known as one of it's considered to be one of the worst superhero movies ever made. And I actually know a lot of people that would even go as far as saying it's the worst movie based on a Marvel property ever, and I highly disagree with that. I'm that 1% out of the 99% of people that actually like this movie. I actually really enjoy it quite a bit. It has a lot of flaws. Like I said, they do skip over way too much stuff. This movie should have been longer. It should have at least been a couple hours. Probably a little bit longer than that, really, to be honest with you, because they cut out a lot. And Josh Trank and Fox had a lot of problems and stuff. Josh Trank even went on to disown the movie when it first came out. But for what it is and all the problems that it has, I still really enjoy it quite a bit. I don't think it's a super great movie, but I like it for what it is. I think it's okay. I think the cast are all pretty decent. They don't have a lot to work with, but I think for all the trouble they went through in the making of this movie, I think they all did pretty good in their roles, especially Michael B. Jordan as Johnny Storm. I think he's easily the best version of the character, way better than Chris Evans and the guy from the 94 version. I really liked him a lot. He really stood out. And Miles Teller, I thought, was really great as Mr. Fantastic. He's an actor that I'm not the hugest fan of. I love him in Whiplash, and I liked him a lot in this. I thought he was really good and everything. He didn't really get the credit he deserved for this movie. Of course, this movie just isn't a very popular movie. And Kate Mara as Sue Storm is pretty good, although I did prefer Jessica Alba. And Jamie Bell as Ben Grimm, or the Thing. I think he's okay. I think he wasn't near as good as Michael Chiklis, but I think he was fine for this version of the movie. And I did like his design, though. I thought he looked really cool, and the CGI on him looks really good and holds up really well. It holds up better than than in either one of the ways the Thing looked in the other two movies, personally. And they used practical on the other two movies. I think he looked better in this. And that says something if you know me on the CGI, because I'm not a big CGI fan, but I think that he looks really good in this movie. And Toby Kebbell plays Victor Von Doom, and he's alright as the character. We don't get enough time with him to really care about him as a villain. He's not a very well-written villain. He felt like an early MCU type of villain. And this was coming out when early MCU movies were still coming out too, so it's just a very generic, boring villain. But there was this one scene in the movie when he's walking through this hallway and stuff at the science lab, where he's just blowing people up and everything. You see the blood splatter and stuff. It's like, how the heck did they get away with a PG-13 rating on this? Because it was pretty cool. I gotta admit that scene is awesome, especially when he like did Tim Blake Nelson and stuff and everything. He was the first one to get killed in it. It was just awesome scene and everything. I love that moment in this movie. But also Reggie Cathy plays Dr. Franklin Storm, the father of Johnny and Sue, and I think he does a really good job too. And in this version, Sue is adopted and everything, which I thought that was kind of an interesting twist to take on the characters and stuff, and it worked because I mean they really did work good together. And he Franklin Storm is really good in this movie. Is a really good character. I mean, I really liked him. His death was pretty sad and stuff. I wish they wouldn't have just rushed things so much, though. That the ending was very rushed. That was really the biggest problem I had with this movie. But yeah, so I really enjoy this movie, though. I think it's very underrated. It doesn't deserve the hate it gets, and the way it ended and stuff, it left me wanting more. I really wish we would have gotten a continuation of this movie, because I would have loved to see where the characters would have went in here. I know there's no chance that Disney would ever consider continuing on with this movie, but if they did, I would love to see what they would have done with them and everything, because this was just kind of like their little origin story. It could have been better, but compared to the other Fantastic Four movies, I think this is definitely one of the better movies. Personally, I'm not a big fan of the Fantastic Four as a franchise and stuff, but this one is okay. It's pretty good, where the other ones are just not very great. But I still wouldn't say this is like MCU level good, or as good as like the Raimi movies or even the Ang Lee Hulk, but I still enjoy this one quite a bit. So I'd say I'd give this one a 7 out of 10, which is higher probably than anybody else would ever give it. And I can get the flaws and the fact that it totally ignores a lot of stuff from the comics. Doesn't stay true to the source material. I can get that and everything, but as someone who's never been a huge fan of the Fantastic Four anyway, I enjoyed the different take on it. Yeah, so anyway, let me know what you think of this movie, and I'm gonna be prepared for the comments. I can already hear y'all on it, but anyway, let me know what you think of it, and I hope you enjoyed this video, and have a good day, everybody.